Hello, I'm Matthew Wallace, Wellness Coordinator at Henry Ford Village in Dearborn, Michigan. And this orientation video is to help instruct you on how to set the seated leg extension in our fitness center. The seated leg extension has a couple moving parts. The leg pad adjusts up and down. You can adjust your degrees of flexion. I usually call this the red number in any orientation that I do one-on-one. Adjusting, you're using this, pulling this pin. And then you can adjust the back of the seat, which we'll discuss what you'll set that at in a minute. But there's no number that you can keep track of to adjust that. At this time, I'm going to ask Steve, our resident volunteer, to come in and adjust the machine for him. Okay. He's going to adjust his degrees of flexion first. So Steve has healthy knees, so he adjusts his degrees of flexion at 90. Next, he's going to adjust his leg pad, and Steve knows the settings because he's in here every day. You might have to play around with the settings a little bit to figure out what's going to work for you. But once you get the leg pad set, you're going to tighten up the screw, a snug tight. And then if you look at the back of the seat, it pulls the handle up and it adjusts the seat or pushes it all the way back so that after he sits down, he can pull the seat up to his back so his back is fully supported. We're going to take it back down to his legs. Notice the leg pad is set to his shins. You're going to want to set it at a point to where it sits towards the bottom of your shins, and the bottom of the leg pad sits right above the top of your shoes. And then your point of rotation, or I'm sorry, your degrees of flexion to your knee should be set to what's appropriate for you. If you have had knee replacements, if you're bone on bone in your knees, you can pull the pin out and adjust your red number or your degrees of flexion so that when you extend through a range of motion, the range of motion is a little less. So at this point, this might be for somebody who's had knee replacements or who's working on strengthening their knees for knee replacements. This might be a range of motion that is of much more comfort to you. For Steve, since he has no issues, he prefers to start moving through more of a range of motion. So Steve will start at 100 degrees, and then he wants to adjust the resistance. On all of our machines in the fitness center, if you can find the handles on the machine, you can adjust the resistance of the machine. The handles for the leg extension happen to be on the left and to the right of the seat. If you press the right thumb button, it increases the resistance. If you press the left thumb button, it decreases the resistance. And the display is on the right side of the machine. At this point, Steve is all set. He's going to begin his extension, relaxing his knees into a flexion. Notice his breathing. As he extends, he exhales. As his knees flex, they inhale. And where he's feeling it right now is right here in the quads. This machine is an emphasis machine. So this is the only muscle that works to extend the knees. If you feel pain or discomfort during the exercise, you can do a couple things. First off, you can start with your resistance. You can decrease the resistance to a resistance that is more manageable for you. You could also next go to that degrees of flexion, adjust the degrees of flexion to where maybe you're moving through a little less range of motion. And then lastly, if you still feel pain or discomfort after adjusting the degrees of flexion, you've adjusted the resistance, then it might be a good decision for you to stop doing the exercise if you still feel pain or discomfort. If you'd like to see more fitness center orientation videos, you can visit our YouTube channel at Henry Ford Village Wellness Department.